Hi and welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. This is going to be super fun. It's really the reason I decided to do this is because I miss teaching people how to sing. So I went, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And so, what we're going to do today is we're going to start with sort of an introduction to singing. And Erica and Deborah, you've both worked with me before, so you know kind of how I do things. Brooke, so if you don't know, Brooke is an amazing singer, and it's really funny that she's gone, I'm going to take this class. So, because she's an amazing performer with albums out and has been in incredible bands for years and years. So, it's really.
Very rusty.
Yeah, and that's, you know what? It's funny. I think it was Jascha Heifetz who said something along the line. He's a violinist, and he said something along the lines of, "If I don't practice for a day, I notice. If I don't practice for 2 days, the audience notices." So I feel like that's really the thing is if we don't practice these muscles, if we don't keep stretching them and using them, we definitely get rusty, and we definitely have to come back and kind of go, okay, how do we do this? Dancers I know keep taking dance class even though they're on Broadway, so it's not a bad thing to do to keep practicing and to keep learning. So I'm gonna talk to you about a little bit about singing, but first I want to get a little bit of your singing history. I know a lot of it, but I'd love to hear from you. Deborah, why don't you give me just a couple sentences of what you've been doing singing wise, and then we'll go through Erica and with Brooke too. Yay, singing is, it's funny. Choirs, my choirs that I was in high school and in junior high, they developed lifelong friendships. I'm still friends with a lot of the people that I sang with in sixth grade because it bonds you like nothing else does. So yay, good for you for keeping on singing. Brooke, how about you? Awesome. And it's funny that you say that whole idea of losing range, it's a muscle. Those vocal folds, they can actually get back to it. I used to have close to 4 octaves, and then I dropped down to below 3 octaves, and now I'm sort of elbow rooming myself more range just by doing singing every single day. And one of the cool things that I have made, and those of you who've studied with me before know, I created a whole bunch of practice exercises. They're little audio files that if you go to that same website that I was talking about, I'll send you the link to it. You get access to a couple hundred practice audio files with lots of different exercises to keep doing it, to keep working it. And it's important because if we don't use it, it'll definitely get to the point where you're like, I don't remember how to do this. And I see that Katie has joined us. Hi, Katie. I don't know if you can turn your video on. We're doing this with video just so that I can keep looking at everybody and seeing what they're doing. Can you turn your video on? Can you hear me? So if you look at I don't know how you're joining us, whether it's on phone or a computer. On the computer, on the bottom left of the Zoom screen, there's a little microphone and a video camera. You can press those and turn everything on, and that way I'll be able to hear you too. In the meantime, let's talk about singing. I believe singing should be an Olympic sport because we use our entire body and then some to sing. So I approach it that way. I approach it that we have to warm up when we sing, like a marathoner. You wouldn't expect a marathon runner to do any kind of racing or anything like that without first warming up really well. So in singing, that's the same thing. We're going to go through a little warm up, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about formation of vowels and things like that. But before I even get there, singing is our birthright, right? What are the first two things we do when we're born? First, we breathe, and then we make some noise, right? Those are the literally, once we're born, the very first things we do. We take our first breath, and then we scream or we sing. So I think that everybody, well, it's something like 0.1% of the hearing population is physically tone deaf. And that is, hi, Katie. I hear your audio, but I still don't see
Working
ya.
on tech issues. I'll be there soon.
Okay. Well, you're coming through. Your audio's coming through. So,
Okay.
so that's good. Anyway, so yeah, 0.1% of the hearing population can not hear physically distinguish different pitches, so they will probably have a lot of trouble singing. But the rest of us, even if we have really huge pitch issues, we can do it. We can figure out and we can learn how to match those pitches and get our voices where we are. You all are singers in that I know that you all know how to match pitch, so we're not going to talk about that too much. But I do want to take you through a warm up, and I do want to talk a little bit about how we're going to use our instrument to sing. And if you have the little PDF, it's going to talk you through it. You can go ahead and grab that PDF. We're gonna talk a little about sort of how and if you're afraid. Is anybody afraid to sing? Is anybody like, I'm a little nervous about it? Or are you like, I'm a singer? I totally hear you. Yes. And the reason I'm talking about that is, again, it's our birthright. So I always want to encourage everyone to make a joyful noise, right? So bear that in mind, that if it is our birthright, and if the very first two things we do is breathe and sing, then breathing before we sing is really important, and warming up before we do it is really important. So in the warm up, in the practice audio files, I'm not going to ask you to do it right now, but in that warm up, I ask you to first walk for 2 minutes in place, just to get the blood going and moving. And Katie is a physical therapist and a dancer, and she knows the value of that. And in fact, if you want, Katie was she volunteered her time and is my model for the video for warming up. I will share that on that same page. We made a video of her showing you exactly what to do to warm up, and also how to do breathing properly for singing. So I'm going to put those on that page too, because they're phenomenal videos. And thank you, Katie, for doing that with me. And Katie can tell you the importance of keeping on moving, especially for singing. So imagining that we have walked for 2 minutes in place, the very next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our shoulders, and go ahead and do it with me, and roll your shoulders back, down, and back to neutral. And then up, back, down, neutral. And one more time, up, back, down, and neutral. And the same thing forward. Now, as you're doing this, maybe 3 or 4 times, really getting a full range of motion, I want you to start deepening your breath. So taking big breaths into the belly. Does everyone know what I mean when I say that? Taking big breaths into the belly. Does that make sense to you? Okay, good. All right, so now take a second. I want to watch you take a breath. Take a big, huge breath in. Inhale and exhale. And one more time. Inhale and exhale. Okay, now here's the important thing about that, and we're going to talk about that in a minute while we go warm up. I want you to keep practicing keeping your shoulders down and relaxed. Instead of lifting them up and inhaling like this, I want you to keep them down and relaxed. And one of the best ways to do that is to practice it is to lie down on a bed or something and put a book on your belly. And in fact, that breathing exercise that Katie and I did together, that video, that she actually models that. So you can see how your belly will actually expand on the inhalation. It will give you a lot more breath control and a lot more ease with singing and with supporting those notes. So now that we've done our shoulders, trying to focus on keeping them down while you inhale, I want you to take your right ear towards your right shoulder, just like that, off to the side, and pull down with that left arm so that you get a nice stretch along the side of your neck. And then go through. And in real world, you would probably hold it a little bit longer than that. But for the purposes of this video, we're doing it just so that you get a sort of a taste of this. And keep holding that for another few seconds, pulling down with that now right arm, and then come back to center. And I want you to reach around and give yourself a huge hug and look down. See if you can see your belly button. And I know you can't, but it's imagining that you can. So you're elongating the back of your neck, and you're not scrunching up the front of your throat. Just elongate the back of your neck. And then go ahead and release and look up. And again, don't crink the back of your neck this time. Elongate the front of your throat. Get all of this nice and relaxed. And then come back to center. And then go back to the side. And this time turn your chin towards that shoulder. And again, keep breathing nice and deep. And then come through, back to the other side. And turn that chin towards the shoulder. And come back to center. Good. Now take your fingertips and tap the top of your head. I know that might seem a little weird, but it is important because this is one of our resonators. To sing, especially if you want to sing up high, you need the cranial cavity to be nice and clear, and you need the blood to be flowing there. And then go ahead and rub your forehead and your eyebrows and around your jaw hinge and down to your chin. and your cheeks and your sinus cavities and your nose. And I learned this one recently, and it boggles my mind. Go to where your jaw hinges, press your thumbs in, and then turn your hands down. Oh, that hurts so good, but it's really good for relaxing that jaw hinge. You're not pressing to the point of incredible pain, but just enough. And then come back to center. Good. And now I want you to go ahead and get back into that breath. Go ahead and breathe into the belly. And exhale. Just a sound is great. And I'm going to move this around. There we go. Good. And now that we've done that, I want you to inhale again. And I want you to make a teeny tiny face. Scrunch your whole face up. And exhale. And now make a huge face. And inhale. And exhale. That's hard to say when you're making a big face. Good. And again, inhale. Scrunchy face. And exhale. Good. Woo. Good, good, good. All right, now I want you to go ahead and I want you to put your hands on your belly and breathe into those hands so that you feel like right now I'm going to take a huge breath in and my shoulders really aren't going to move. See how they barely move? That's what you want, because the second you do this, it looks like I took a huge breath in, but watch. Now I have a full breath in. So raising your shoulders only really is going to fill up the very top part of your lungs. It's not really helping. You're not really getting that full breath. And the reason we want to do that is because the breathing apparatus, how it works is the diaphragm muscle that sits right below the lungs, it flattens as the lungs expand. And then that's what they call diaphragmatic breathing. The diaphragm actually helps you contract the lungs, right? That's the process of inhaling and exhaling. And if you don't fill up properly the bottom part of your lungs, then the diaphragm doesn't have anything to support. So it becomes a lot harder to maintain those long notes or even to make good resonant sounds. So keep practicing that idea of breathing in. And I'm going to give you a lovely, 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 my favorite thing in the world, exercise to practice breathing that you cannot do unless you're supporting with the diaphragm. It's the horse noise. Those of you who've studied with me know what the horse noise is. You're going to inhale and you're going to put your lips together and you're going to kind of like the duck lips if you took 2 Pringles potato chips and put them in your mouth. You're going to inhale and you're just going to go good, and try it again. Now, if you're noticing that it's hard to do because you're doing this and you're kind of fizzling out, I want you to inhale. I want you to press with the belly. If you're wearing pants or a skirt that has a real nice waistband to it, press against the waistband. It's not a pulling in to breathe out. You're actually pushing out with your belly. It's that supporting with the diaphragm. It's allowing you to inhale and support. So I'm going to actually stand up a little so you can see it. You're going to inhale and then see how my muscles kind of go whoop. That motion of it's not tightening, it's engaging, and then I'm gently pushing against the waistband of my pants in order to be able to support myself as I breathe. So inhale again and horse noise. Good, nicely done. Now this time you're going to do motorboat noise. So you're going to inhale and do the same thing, only you're going to voice it, so it's going to sound like a motorboat. Inhaling. And here's what's really cool about this particular little exercise is that it is impossible to do well and for an extended period of time without having support from your diaphragm. So if you're finding it's hard to do, partially it's hard to do because that support isn't as good as it could be. So working on that exercise will help you extend your range. It'll help you get better resonance vocally. Lots and lots of benefits. Now I want you to do the same thing with an R sound. And if you can't roll your R's, you're going to go ahead and you're going to just do the same motorboat noise. So you're just going to go, try it. Inhale and nice. Okay, now this time we're just going to go up and down. Very gently, nothing loud here. This is just to get your voice a little bit more acclimated to singing. Inhaling and Nice. All right, good. Try it again. Inhaling and yay. All right, cool. Nicely done. All right, so now when you stand to sing, I know that there are lots of people who are like, I sing like this, and that's okay, but it's not going to get you that nice full resonant sound as easily. So when you stand to sing, and I don't know if you're standing, if you're sitting, that's cool. We're going to go over sing or sit stance too. When you stand to sing, you want to stand with your feet hip width apart and your legs not locked, so don't lock your knees, resting on your spine sort of nice and straight, so it's not like, it's not singing like this. You're going to want to stand nice and straight with those shoulders back up and down, and so that you can really engage the pecs to expand when you inhale. And you're going to want to make sure that the curve of your spine is such that your bones are connected one on top of the other. And the same thing happens for sitting. So you don't want to cross your legs when you sit to sing. You want to sit on your sits bones. You want your thighs to be as flat, parallel to the floor as possible. Your feet are flat on the floor, also hip width apart, and you're not slouched in any way. A second you slouch, in fact, try and slouch and just do an ah sound, or better yet, just say your name. Slouch and just say your name. Yeah, just your whole name, yeah, just inhale, and while you're slouching, say your name. Inhale and do it. Okay, now sit up nice and straight, get your shoulders nice and back, take a nice deep breath, and say your name. Can you hear the difference? It's amazing how just that little change in posture is going to change everything. Now, that's some of it. Some of the other part of it for me, hold on, let me make sure I've got the right, la la la. Yes, some of the other part of singing for me is about creating a proper resonance mask. Now, our whole head is going to be part of our ability to sing, but so is our chest. And in a future little mini workshop, we're going to talk about pitch, and we're going to talk about chest voice and head voice and resonance and all of that. But for today, I want you to remember and pay attention to the ability that you have to create an instrument, right? So some of us have a higher voice, some of us have a lower voice, but if this is our instrument, this is where our sound is going to come from. If I have a small instrument, by necessity, I'm going to make different kinds of sounds than if I have a big instrument. But one of the biggest voices I've ever heard, an old bandmate of mine, Allie Berger, she was tiny. She was 95 pounds, soaking wet, 5'1" maybe, and she had this huge voice. And the reason she had is because she had great resonators and she always sang really open. So when you're going to make sound, I want you to remember that your instrument goes where you tell it. Singing is 90% sort of imagination, if you will, and about 10% physical. So what you imagine, where you focus, what you want to do with your voice is generally what it's going to do. You just have to know what to tell it to do. So when you do it, you can give yourself a lot of help by a few very simple tricks. Breathing, really important. Making sound, really important. So we're going to just inhale, and I'm going to ask you to choose this sound, ah, and I want you to inhale and just sing that for me on an ah. Ready? Inhale and ah. Okay, good. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take the tips of your two fingers, and those of you who studied before with me know this. The tips of your two fingers, put them between your teeth. Inhale, and that space between your teeth, do that ah. That size. Now, it's not past that first knuckle. It's like about an inch of space, maybe an inch and a half. So that much space between your teeth. Inhale, and do an ah. Ready? Inhale, and yeah, cool. All right, let's do this individually. First of all, could you hear the difference in volume? It's huge. Just by giving yourself a little bit of a bigger resonance chamber, you're going to have a much bigger, fuller sound. So let's do it one at a time. Deborah, do for me an ah sound with that two-finger rule engaged. Inhale and you don't have to keep your fingers in. Yeah, just make sure. Yeah, this is just to measure, because it does sort of mess with your sound a little. So just make sure you have that measurement, and then do an inhale and an ah. And good, nicely done. Brooke, go ahead. All right, nice. I'm going to talk to you about something that I'm noticing right away. First of all, you're tensing the back of your jaw a little. So, do you have TMJ? Do you have grit your teeth?
Right now I
Okay.
do.
Okay. So this idea of relaxing this is going to be really helpful. Also, you're having a tendency, and this is important for any singer. We start thinking, "Oh, I want to make a bigger resonance chamber. Therefore, I need to take my tongue and I need to push it down to the bottom of my mouth." And that's actually not what you want to do, because the tongue muscle goes all the way back over into here. And as soon as you do this to it and you flatten it, you take some of that tongue and you push it against the back of your throat. So instead of coming out sounding, ah, the voice starts going a little back. Ah, I'm exaggerating. That's not as much as you did, but it's something that's really important for when you're singing. Keep your tongue always, and this goes for everybody, your tongue wants to be forward. And if you're just singing a vowel, the tip of your tongue needs to sit against the back of your bottom teeth, so that instead of ah, that sound, ah, you get a much more forward, much more resonant sound, because your voice is not being blocked by your tongue. So I was exaggerating. It's not what you did, but that's sort of where you were approaching. Erica, why don't you go ahead and give me your ah? Inhale and good. I want you to inhale, and I want you to put your hands on your belly, and I want you to really engage that belly and do the same breath, ah, and push with that belly, because I think you're missing some resonance you could be getting. Try it again. Push with the belly. Good. Erica, can you move your camera so that you can see, or your phone so that you can see me while you sing? Okay, good. Good, good, good. Now here's what I want you to do. I want you to watch. I'm going to push my finger, and I want you to sing to my finger. So right here, you're going to sing to my finger. Inhale and nice. Could you hear the difference? And here's what's happening. If you change your focus, if you get a focus, your voice will sound bigger and better. So singing sort of ah is one thing. Singing with a purpose, singing because you're interpreting a song, singing because you want to make sound, changes everything. So for you especially, I want you never to sing without knowing why you're singing. So even if I go, I want you to sing do-do-do-do-do, don't go, oh, I'm just going to go do-do-do-do-do. Instead, go, what is happening? Why am I doing it? For you especially, you are the kind of person, you need to know why, right? You need to, and I get it. I understand. I'm the same way. So if you need to know why you're doing something, give yourself a why, because otherwise it's always going to sound a little bit less focused than it needs to. Katie, let's hear you. Okay, good. This time I want you to go ahead and do the two-finger rule first so that you can get that distance. Try it again. Inhale and nicely done. Good. So here's the thing that I want to talk to you all about as far as your ahs are concerned. Tuba lips, right? Everything should be focused outward. And we as singers have a tendency to go, oh, I'm making sound. I sound delightful, la la la. Our ahs, ah, it can be this way, ah, or we can focus it outward like a tuba. Ah, can you hear the difference in what I'm doing between ah and ah? Can you hear the vocal quality difference? So I want you to take your fingers and push your lips in that ah, and do an ah for me that way. Inhaling and ah with the two-finger rule engaged. So nice inhale and ah. Yeah. Good. All right, Brooke, try it now. Nice. Very nice. Okay, now, Brooke, I'm going to ask you to do one more thing. First of all, try not to do this when you're singing. You're lifting your chin up a little bit, and that is causing tension that you don't want in your voice. So keep everything nice and relaxed, and then in that same tone, ah, I want you to raise your eyebrows and do it. Try it again. Same exact thing. Yeah. Good. Can you hear the difference?
Yeah.
What's interesting about that is, what was that?
Why does that do anything?
Why does raising your eyebrows do anything?
Yeah.
Oh, do I have a rubber band? I need a rubber band. Okay, So here's the thing, and if you want to know the answer to Brooke's question, do I have anything that I can possibly
So
use?
I have one. I don't know if I can do it for you.
Yeah, you absolutely can. So take that rubber band, and keeping it flaccid, just strike the rubber band. Doesn't make any noise. Now
Hear it, but yeah,
take it a little bit, make it tight, and
I can
then
hear it.
unfortunately we can't hear it, but that's what it is. As soon as you engage the muscles of your face, they're going to make a huge difference.
Yeah.
They're going to make a huge difference in what you are able to do. So engaging the muscles around your face, keeping the muscles of your pecs engaged, not tight, but engaged, will change everything about how you're producing sound. So let's do the same thing again, and we're going to do it on an O sound, incorporating this whole idea of two-finger rule, tuba lips, brightening up our face and supporting with our breath on oh. That's going to be our sound. Ready? Trying an inhale and oh. Yeah. Good. Now the same thing on an ooh, and we're going to take a different pitch. Ooh, try that. But the two-finger rule still holds. So even though I'm singing an ooh sound, ooh, I still have ooh. Make a big resonating chamber for yourself, and you're going to have a much easier time making huge, beautiful sound without doing a lot of extra work. So, ooh, there's your sound. And ooh. Good. Now I want you to do it again, and I want you to sing to my finger. Inhale, and yeah, that's what you want. Again, focus in singing is so important. Imagination in singing is so important. The more we do it, the better. The next sound is on an E. E. Now, the same thing holds true. Two-finger rule, tuba lips. E. Inhale and E. Yeah. Good. And if you want to, you can raise your eyebrows and do the same thing. Last but not least is an A. And an A sound is weird because we tend to look at it as an A and it all goes up in our nose. And instead, I want you to inhale and A. Same tuba lips, same two-finger rule. And A. Nice. Now go back and do an A just like A. Try that. Inhale and A. Can you hear the difference? Yeah, so much of this is applying just a few techniques, and you start really, I mean, you're all already singers, so and I don't have to worry too much about pitch with you, but what's important is that we get ourselves just those few techniques that allow us to maneuver our voice where we want it to be, because again, so much of this is your imagination. So we're going to do the same thing on different vowels and different consonants. You sing, by the way, on the vowels. I think I've mentioned this probably to all of you, but you don't go, I love ye. You go, I love you. So you don't want to keep the l or v going. You want to get rid of them as soon as possible. So it's, I love you. So I want you to sing that with me. Just, I love you. But employing that two-finger rule. Ready? Inhale and I love you. Yeah. But remember the you. It's never you because you becomes very small. Keep everything big. This is your instrument. You want, in this case, you want a cello more than you want a piccolo, right? So big instrument. Make everything huge. And in future classes, we're going to talk more about this idea of sort of what the energetic body does and what the energetic instrument does. You can make your voice sound bigger than even the body you have. So for example, I see you're not here with me. Unfortunately, I don't even know if it's going to work, but I'll try it. If I sing just for me, ooh, that's fine. It's a fine sound. But if I sing into what I have established as my energetic body so that it's all around me, ooh, and I'm not doing any extra work. All I'm doing is changing where my vocal focus is. If I have a very small vocal focus, ooh, I can do that. But if I have a bigger vocal focus without changing anything else, I have a much more full and resonant sound. So the more you elbow room your way out into that energetic instrument for yourself, the easier it will be to get the voice that you want without doing a lot of work. Because if you're up there and you're singing for 2 hours because you're in a musical or you're in a band or whatever, you don't want to tire yourself out. Instead, what you want to do is give yourself every opportunity to sing easily and the best you possibly can without exhausting yourself. Because singing is not supposed to be exhausting, it's supposed to be energizing. The way we make it energizing is by employing the right techniques for us. And some techniques work for others, for some and not others. But if we employ the right techniques that will work for us, then we're going to have the biggest, most wonderful sound without doing so much work. Okay, so in the video audio practice files, I have all of these exercises that I encourage you to practice with if you're going to take the next set of classes. We're going to do even more and start practicing, and I'll get you the list of all the ones that you should. It's like 1 through 10 right now that you want to do, because all of these exercises you want to do a, e, I, o, u on the consonants. So not just ma, me, mo, mu, but na, ne, ni, no, nu. So we're going to try it with ma, me, mo, mu, and you're just going to go ma, me, mo, mu, always going through to that 2-finger rule and keeping the vocal focus going. So inhale and there's your note. Get rid of the M as quickly as possible. Ready? Inhale and ma, me, mo, mu. Yeah. That's what you want. Okay, Deborah, try it you by yourself. We're going to do everybody by themselves on la, le, li, lo, lu. Ready? And Yeah. That's what you want. Good. Erica, try it on a da, de, dee, do, do. And. Okay, good. Do it again and really 2-finger rule. Da, de, and raise your eyebrows. Ready? And. Nice. Very nice. Katie, fa, fe, fi, fo, fu. No, actually, let's not do that. Ba, be, bi, bo, boo, because we're not doing non-voice. Ready? And. Nice. Do it again and raise your eyebrows. And. Perfect. Good. And remember, when you're singing, and this is a slightly more advanced concept, but it's something to always bear in mind, you want to inhale and you want to start supporting and then sing, and then you want to stop singing before you run out of breath. Not that you did that, Katie, but some of us tend to go, I can keep singing, and you can't anymore because your breath isn't there. So stop before you get to that point. Take a breath and do it again. All right, the last thing we're going to cover in the last couple minutes is I want you to do tongue twisters. Tongue twisters are great for opening up the resonators, for getting your mouth doing what you want it to do. And we're going to start with my very favorite, minimal animal. So we're just going to do minimal animal, using all the muscles. Ready? And minimal animal. Good. So why I'm doing this? I'm doing it so that I can keep everything facile and keep developing my muscles, my singing muscles and my actual physical muscles to do what I want to do. I know that you might have questions, and I apologize. We're at almost a minute left and we have to go. But if you come back for the next one, have your questions ready and I will answer them. In the meantime, go to that isoldet.com/sing-free and download everything. The audio files are there. Practice audio files 1 through 10. It'll take you through the warm-up, and I'll also have the videos that Katie and I did for the warming up and breathing. And I hope that you had fun, and I hope to see you in the next one.
Thank you so much.
You're absolutely welcome.
Thanks,
Bye.
Appreciate it.
No problem. My pleasure. Bye, all.